Hello. Right, parts list so far to date. As we're trying to collect everything up, that is a escape hatch. The perspex has gone on it. It was absolutely destroyed. I got that out of a lorry and it was in the sleeper pod that was on the roof. So I've replaced the perspex with aluminium. That is going on the back bulkhead to access the rudder. So I've got to cut that hole out a lot bigger for that to fit. And because it's sealed, it will stop water from getting in that area from the cockpit. We have one seat which I got mainly for the boss. The seat itself I've kind of been debating whether to throw it away because I'm trying to avoid spending money on stuff. We've got the boss, the rest of that, but that's been pre-welded. There's no pulling it apart, which is a pain in the butt, and it's got a dent in it. It cost very little money, so I don't have any room to complain. Benches, one of two, made from an old tub. Yeah, I know, it is what it is. This is going to get a wooden lid put over the top of this aluminium lid. I want this to seal so it can't take water in whatsoever. Once this has been glassed in to the boat and this has been glued down and screwed down, I shall adjust this latch here because there is a lock there, and I'm hoping I can make that 100% watertight. Yeah, so that will be next to the seat, so we'll be able to put a table there. We can put stuff on that table then, and then we can put food on the main table and sit in the cockpit, which would be nice. What else is there? Oh yeah, we've made 2 fiberglass angles, and one of these is going on the side of that box, like so. I'll show you how I'm going to bond them when I get to it. The other one will go on the floor. I'm not sure which way round, probably that way actually. Originally I was going to put a piece of checker plate from one side to the other, but I've now decided against that idea because I need a locker next to that locker for this, and this is a mould taken from one of those, gas bottle. We're now on the second locker. Now I've laid up my gel coat. That's a non-waxed gel coat, it's a mould coat, and what I've done is I rolled it on with a regular mohair style roller, and the tip that I've discovered online regarding that, before you use the roller, get some gaffer tape or some strong adhesive tape, wrap it around the roller and then rip it off. If there's any loose hairs, you will get it off with the tape and it won't come off on the workpiece. And I already know this because the first one I wrapped it perfect. The second one I forgot to wrap it and I was putting hair all over the place and I had to get my finger and lift it all off. So that tip works. That took 2 rolls. Those rollers are a little gel coat thirsty, so if you're a bit skint, you're going to use more gel coat doing it this way than you would with a brush. However, the way of doing it with the brush will lead to high and low areas which could potentially crack and put hairline cracks everywhere. And if you're a fussy sod like me, about to swear then, you ain't gonna like that. So maybe pay out the little extra, half a cup of resin, just gel coat, just to cover that. So yeah, there's 2 coats. First one attacked. I put quite a bit of catalyst in it. I literally put a cap full, one of them caps to half one of them to you know what I mean, because I just needed it to dry off as quickly as possible. Also helps when you're using a tub to make sure you clear all the rubbish off as well. Now luckily I'll be cutting along there anyway, so I mean, it ain't dry yet. I suppose we could quickly get rid of that and just go over it with a roller. Better to be safe than sorry, I suppose. There's the roller. Literally like that. That's all you need to do. Go to see what I mean by the mohair? Right, I'm not going to do no more of that. That one's falling apart. I should have put the tape around it and I didn't. So that one is now a more even coat, which I'm happy about. Now I've pre-waxed this melamine up, or whatever the hell it is, I don't know. I use for my wax, and I use regular car wax. Sometimes I put the wax on and just let it dry and don't rub it down after. And sometimes I will actually sit there and polish it all up like you would a car bonnet and then lay up after. The disadvantages is when you leave the wax, all the brush strokes and wipe strokes will come out on your gel coat and you'll lose your shine, which I'm suspecting I'm going to lose on this anyway because of the material I'm laying up against. I'm hoping I won't, but I think I'm going to. It's got a texture to it. But this is the gas bottle locker, which is going to be tucked slightly inward of the shiny locker, and the same on the other side, which is going to be for the what do you call it, fenders and everything to go in. So one locker, it will be for my life jackets, the other locker will be for whatever else it needs to be for ropes and whatnot, and then the other one will be gas, and the other one will be fenders, and then that's all I'm having outside. And I am half and half debating whether to use that stainless steel box that you saw in the previous video and use that as a mould and maybe make that up. I don't know yet. There you go. And I meant what I said. I don't know if you can see that texture, but the texture is what I've got on here. It's not a shiny surface, and it has literally transmitted it through to the other side. There's the interior part of it. You can see the rippled effect that you get with the gel coat when you roll it on fresh. And to be honest with you, right, if I was laying up plywood and I maybe wanted that kind of effect on the ply, and I wanted something that was super waterproof, this would be a good way in doing it, because it's no different to the stuff you buy in the DIY stores, which has polyester coating over it, because that's what it is. It's a polyester gel coat. And anyway, there you go. So next thing to do on this one is to trim it. That will go into the boat like that. This is for the locker. It's not a very thick sheet, to be honest. It could do with another couple of more layers, but we're a little skint, and my belief is that if I was to get this cut to size, even if I just get one side trimmed to match, I can then work out the size of the bottle and then take the other bit off. But here's the thing, you see, I've got to lay this up against the bulkhead. So I think the best thing I can do with this is just trim one side up square, cut it, trim all that bottom bit up. There's gel coat on there that I didn't want, but it's on there now and I'll have to live with it and then we can trim this side up to match the side or the surface that it's got to go on. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that, with all things considered. Now the reason I put gel coat in the final layup, there's 4 sheets on this, and I put gel coat in with the resin for the final one because I just wanted it coloured on the inside, and once I trim it all up, you see, it'll match the rest of the boat. There's nothing to stop me from putting a gel coat roll over that to get that effect, to hide all of that. There's nothing to stop me from doing it. I won't take it all out. So far I've now cut the angle. I've put my piece of angle on. When I say cut the angle, I mean I've cut down to, damn it, I've cut that angle to fit the side of the box that this has got to go against, and then I've trimmed that like so. Unfortunately, this didn't go on as well as it could have done, and the reason for that is that ridge there. Now the reason why I put that bit onto here instead of there is because on the box, and I'll show you tomorrow, it's really tight as it goes down, and I'm probably going to have to trim this on that one, on that large edge, see. And also originally it was sealant to go down each side, yeah, and then push that against the aluminium that I was going to use, and that's why these were done in gel coat, see, and resin together, was because I wanted it thick, strong, and yeah. But now we've changed our bloody minds, haven't we? So that didn't go on as well as it could have done, so tomorrow I'm going to just gently sand that back, try and feather that edge down if I can. And then I thought about this, I thought, well, it still isn't strong enough as you see it at the moment, so I'm going to put a piece of polyurethane across here, right up to the edge, to be honest with you, and I'll glass that in to put some rigidity in this area here, because there's going to be a piece of wood run along there anyway, so I don't need to worry about up there, and this little lot will get glassed against the bulkheads and the floors and everything. There's one more piece to put in. Morning, new day, Sunday. I've decided to put a stringer in along there to support it, and this is just a form, nothing more. It's about as good as I can get it with a sander. I could have hand sanded it, but the stuff's so thin it just snaps, as you can see there. So that isn't actually the strength. It doesn't. The only thing it does is create a shape that when I put the glass resin over the top with the chop strand and all of this gets stuck down, it will just act as a stiffened area. And because I've got it on a piece of board, i.e. worktop, it should effectively come out stronger than what it is now. Well, that's there. That's beefed that up massively, but we've still got glue blowing through some of the holes, which I expected would happen. I shouldn't have glued this up and glassed while the glue was still, you know, because what will happen and can happen and has happened is if the layer is thinner than what this is now, which is fairly thick for what it is, but still probably not thick enough in some people's eyes, but it can warp the panel. There's so much power in that spray and in that, you know, that polyurethane. There's so much power, energy in it, that it can actually force itself and bend plywood. GRP, I've had it happen. I did a locker for a lorry once, camper van, and right across the middle, beautiful shiny gel coat, right across the middle where I put a stringer in, the whole thing had bowed out where the polyurethane underneath hadn't properly dried. I could come out tomorrow morning and that bugger could be bent. Right, so looking at it from a cockpit perspective, there'll be sealant running down, around, under and all the way around to seal it all in. There'll be a massive lid once this wood has been added across, in and along. There'll be a massive lid. There'll be another piece go across here as well and across there, but there will be, like I say, a massive lid go over the top of that, and it'll overhang to about there as well, just beyond the wood, and it'll overhang to about here. And the reason why this one goes in is because I've got a hatch down there to go in the boat at the back, and if I was to have this line up here, I don't think that hatch would fit, and I certainly wouldn't be able to open it. So I've got to do this for both lockers, front and rear. Now I want to put a hard dodger on this thing as well, so I'm now thinking to myself that locker might be too big. The cockpit is from there to, I think, here in length, and I've decided to leave that bit open because originally the batteries were there, but I want the batteries inside the hull as low down as I can get them because of the weight of batteries, and there's going to be a few go in, not just one but probably 4 batteries for different things, solar panels eventually as well. I want 2 independent batteries for the pumps, and I want one battery for the engine, and then another one for the inverter and the interior. So there's definitely going to be a leisure battery or 2 go in. So with that all being said, I'll see you on the next one. Laters.